Okay, I just wanted to try this new format of making my watch list. I know I've been out last week, so I thought this might be a cool way to kind of talk through how I'm doing my watch list and just give you like an example of kind of like how to chart after hours. Um, this is probably going to be unedited, so there might be times where I'm like shuffling through and you guys can just kind of fast forward through that just because I wanted to get this kind of out early. It's 6 p.m. currently on the PST, so I'm sure the East Coast folks, it's getting kind of late. So, first thing I want to start with is Apple. I see kind of a trend line here. It's been hitting this, and I did notice that it just broke this line right there. So, what I'm going to do is create a PT right there about a 174.20. This is where I think it's probably going to go. What I also noticed is that there's a gap fill right here, right? So this is kind of what I want to be looking out for. Ideally, it may hit this and then just come back later during the week and start approaching this gap fill. This is a $5 move, so I definitely do not want to miss this. This did pop right off the RSI indicator there. So below this line, it is oversold, and anything above this 70 line is overbought, which kind of helps. I've noticed that Apple kind of follows that trend quite a bit on the 15-minute. So that's kind of like something similar that I've been seeing. So definitely want to watch Apple. For AMD, it did break this EMA on the 15-minute. I know we've been talking about this, or this used to be one of my favorite indicators, but it just hasn't been playing out recently. So it broke here, just stagnated, put it back up right there, and it just didn't really create any sort of moves. So I'm kind of staying away from this. I know, what did we have earnings for this? Tuesday, so 2 weeks ago. Hopefully it comes back up, but until I start seeing that pattern forming, I'm gonna stay out of it. But this would be the PT if you were in a play earlier. This is where I think it hits. And if I wanted to draw my second level, it would be right there. And that's basically because this is where I see the pivot points, right? And then this is kind of where everything aligns. That's good for that. NVIDIA, I'm kind of seeing the same thing as AMD. I do want to throw some resistances on this chart just so I could keep an eye out for them. But I probably won't get puts until it breaks this EMA again. Now, what I think may happen is it just passes this 50 EMA and then hits down. Hopefully that is at the same line as where the RSI crosses over. A Amazon. Okay, let's see. I'm starting to see kind of a cup here. So for cup and handles, what happens is it forms this cup. It will eventually kind of hit back up a little bit and then fall back down. Now, I didn't see kind of a sharp enough handle being formed. This is kind of just, consolidating there. But this might be an actual good play up if it starts going up. But if you want to play the put side, we can draw it closer to this level right here, I think. That might be a potential entry. So the end of this candle, the end of this candle, the end of this candle, the wick of this. Now, since I've been out for the last week, I don't have my gap fills here, so this is definitely another play that I want to be watching. So as soon as it breaks the support, this is where I think would be the first PT right at the entrance of this gap fill. So throw that in there, and then obviously the next one would be completing that gap fill. Netflix has been kind of paying out pretty recently, so um, it all pays out when there's like a consolidation period. So like notice how when this channel formed, it popped right off of it. Then there's a resistance popped out of it, but it's still not quite enough move to where I maybe want to play it quite yet. I might just wait for this one, um, especially because it's been over the weekend. Let's see if I can make. No, because it's still just basing. It's been hugging this EMA though, the 200 EMA. So let's see if we can find a pattern here with the 200 EMA. See how it kind of rides the 200, it drops below but then pops right back up. So I guess it stays bullish until, same thing right here. So this point it broke and then it just, the next candle was red and just dropped until this point kind of rejected and then it popped back up. So this is something I definitely want to watch out for. So notice that for this, it's that red line right here. Is it the red or the purple? What is the purple? Wicked off this. That's what I want to watch for. And then if I were to, if it opens flat, I'd like an entry here, I think. And then to play it safe because it does move pretty quick, I'll take this wick as my first price target. But ideally you hit this level right here. I'll draw that on too, like that. I'll have to back test this 200 EMA with Netflix on the 5 minute. Okay, that's, I need to keep an eye on that. I'll try to back test. Okay, let's see, Microsoft. I kind of see a lot of support around this area right here. So it wicked off this, few consolidation candles, kind of wicked off this, and it continues here. So it's bounced quite a bit. We had some decent volume coming in. It's breaking all the EMAs to the upside. If it holds, I'd have a potential PT of here, I think. I'll play this, but if you want to be safer, I guess you can kind of get closer to this area right here where the wick of this, a few candles right here, 2 wicks. I'll keep that as kind of safer. Okay, Disney. Disney has had its fair share of gap fills. So I had these earlier for videos. So there's 2 gap fills here now. This got completed. I'll delete that. This got deleted. I'll delete that. Okay. Now for a potential entry point, let's see if we can make a trend line. I think this would be good. It's wicked off twice here. It's kind of in line with this EMA curling. But see how the RSI has been oversold for quite a bit now. Now, if it continues to consolidate, it will eventually just keep staying at this midpoint right here, this at this 50 marker, where this yellow line is a moving average, RSI-based moving average. And if it comes up to it, then it can go either way. But ideally, we break above. The first price target would be right back up to this line, and then it'd probably be tired, right? Because it just made this massive run, probably reject a little bit, and then potentially go back in here. Meta, it seems as though there's a kind of a cup forming here. Let's try it like that. So if we push up and then back down, that's the level of entry that I want for puts, right? Because it's the head of the cup. It's also the support. The same thing here where it popped up. Now, when it moves pretty quickly like this, it'll hit the top and just come back down. So I'll flag that. That might be a potential play. Roblox. Let's see. There has been a just gap fill right here. Throw that on there. This gap, I think, is pretty much filled, so I'm not going to throw that on there. There's a pretty good buying volume I've seen on almost all the charts where it looked like it's just crossing over the 20 EMA. The 20 EMA is this yellow line. So I think it just depends on how we open, but the resistance that I'd be watching is this level right here because of this wick, came back down, and then that wick right there too. I think it's going to depend on how we open. If we open already above this, then it may continue to push, obviously. But if we open flat, which I'm assuming, right? I don't know. I might see it touch this and then a potential break and then a potential push up. So that's what we kind of want to see. Shop seems like it's the only one that stayed bearish. So kind of at the bottom of the RSI too. No gap fills. I'm gonna avoid this. BAC. I haven't been the biggest fan of this, so I'm gonna skip this as well. Okay, coin. Coin we've played a few times. So let's see what we got here. Definitely a resistance here. For its support, I'm gonna extend this gap fill because so it's at the bottom of the RSA, so I don't think it goes too far down. I think we eventually pop back up, but this is definitely something I want to watch for. I don't think there's a quite entry quite yet until we get to that point. Okay, let's see. It's been a while since I've took a look at this. Oh, they have dividends on Monday. I'm gonna wait for that too then. Okay, let's go ahead and I haven't played Google quite a bit. I just threw this on here because it was like a suggestion from some of the members. I haven't quite played it, but it seems as if it's on resistance here. We had some sell volume come in and it rejected the top of the RSI. Let's see the last time what happened. So it broke right down. So I guess if we open at the top, puts might be the move here. I don't think it goes all the way down to this level, but I was wrong when it completed this. So I do have some lines over there, so I think, is that on the daily? I'm not sure what these lines were for. Okay, let's see. So this I drew a while back. Bounced there previously. Okay, so we had some pretty large buying volume coming in here. And it was just at the bottom of the RSI. This might be a good potential play. The first resistance I see would be here. So I guess if it opens flat, that might be a potential PT. But if we break this support and we fall further down, I think that might be the better move because you'd probably catch it. Let me zoom out here for like 45. You'd probably catch it up to this 49.44, which would be like a $3 move. I'll throw that there. Again, like I'm just doing this to kind of keep an eye out of what my levels were. When I do enter, I'd probably revisit this line and make it a little bit more precise. Okay, let's see what we got here. This looks like a good stock to kind of match this 50 EMA. So this is what I'm looking at, this red line right here. Bounced, 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 dropped, rejected, rejected, popped back up, rejected, bounced back up, never hit, dropped below. And you see, this is how like I start to look at patterns. And it's like a stock by stock case, right? So like look at this. So you had this massive drop and it still stuck with it. Drop below, continued. Now it's not the biggest move here, but and it just broke. And look at this volume. So I think what happens is it's at the top of the RSI we've seen here, right? And the entry point that I would want is if it retouches this EMA right here, and then it bounces back up. I think that would be the best potential play for a decent entry. And if that were the case, then you could pick the resistances from here. Let's see if it bounced right here. You'd probably be looking at, ideally the price target would be this right here, this level, this 108 level, but you can take profit, like, at any sort of resistance that you see. One could be right here, this 107.06. I like that. I'm going to flag that. Okay, let's see. Square I haven't played, or I guess block I haven't played in quite a bit. Now let's see. It's at the bottom of the RSI, just popped back up. Let's see how this functions previously when that happens. So pop back up and then it just kind of stayed there. I don't know if I will play this. I'm gonna go ahead and skip it. Now, okay, target's got a gap fill there. I've seen resistance here. Definitely a resistance forming here, just from all those wicks. I think if it does break that resistance, I think we move back up to this level here, where you see all this resistance is here. That's what I'm looking at. So it would be too early to call for calls quite. Oh, we got dividends coming up too, right? So Tuesday. So they probably had their. Oh, the X date is Tuesday 16th. Okay, so typically on the X date, from my understanding, is people will buy up until this date and they're paid out June 10th, but you might see an influx of buying just so that people can get the dividends. This is something I definitely want. to play as well. Obviously, the entry would be break of that resistance. There's some good volume. You break this 50 EMA that we've played before, which is what we caught. This massive move down right here with their arrows. We played this. We played that. So, and again down here. So I definitely like this because you'd have to break the 50 MA in order to pass this. Now, if you want to be early, you could potentially get in here off this break of this 50 MA, and if you have weeklies, you might be able to just take quick 10, 15, 20% right here at this level, and then hold runners for this bigger gain. Spot, it's been something new. It's at the bottom of the RSI. It doesn't seem as if the bounce from the bottom has been too drastic. So this is the cup. Oh, this is a stock that I've seen cup and handles for. Hit the head. So another one. And then it finally pushed up. But even this massive volume that came in on this candle didn't really continue to push up. So I'm still kind of avoiding this crowd. I see a potential trend line, right? So I'll fix it here. I'll throw it on this. Something like that. It does have a gap. I see here. Like that. So this is something I'll keep an eye out for. For this to happen, you'd have to break the support, which I can draw. I'll draw this because it worked here and rejected, so that's pivot point, and pivot point. So it's kind of forming a triangle. If it breaks the support, I would play it to this entrance of the gap. That is a really good price target for that. And I think that concludes. I think I missed Tesla. Okay. We'll end on Tesla here. I know it's been 20 minutes already, so I don't want to keep you guys too long. So it's held this support quite a bit. It's not the bottom of the RSI. It's kind of in the middle to the bottom, I guess. Key levels that I'd be watching out for are the break above this. Now, we had a gap here, but it's filled, right? So there's no point in drawing them. But a breakup of this, and then I would see my PTs to be this. And then another one would be right there. See how it just, it's quick to see PTs because they're not resistances or supports, right? This is the way I do my PTs are potential pivot points, right? Where I've seen the stock kind of hit in that area and reject. Now, you want to take profit before it rejects, right? So that's where I'm kind of drawing it here, where pivot point, pivot point, pivot point, and it's broke below above, but then it falls straight back down. So that's how I kind of determined my price targets. So I know that was kind of quick. I wanted to create a video just to try out this new sort of format. That way you guys can understand where I'm drawing it from. And if this is something that you guys like, then just let me know and I can kind of keep doing it this way. But yeah, just let me know. I'm excited for this upcoming week. I'm gonna try to go hard. I'll be going live on Discord for this week for some live trading. So stay tuned. All right, thanks guys for watching.